Hey Mike, this is Chuck again. Leading off where I was talking about the gospel message as a conversation, and I was leading into this is very vital for camping because if the conversation's happening in the churches and pastors are being challenged to think beyond this, if they come to a camp and all the teacher does, as the speaker does, is present the gospel in that way, it could really cause confusion down the road for the campers and for the youth pastors. It's interesting because this is showing in a couple of ways. This conversation is playing out in a couple of ways. One is it's playing out in the idea of the conversation of social justice and people trying to move beyond just the understanding Christ dying and burying and raised again and then praying a prayer and then you're good, is what does it mean to live out the gospel, and what does it mean to tell the story of the gospel in every aspect of your life. This is a huge conversation. And one of the ways it's playing out is through what we refer to as social justice work. Some people might even say the gospel is social justice, which, you know, I don't want to get into the doctrine of all that, but the bottom line is that this is playing out in that way. And if we're not careful, social justice could just become activism. But worked out properly, I think it's helping us get to a point in church culture and student ministries in particular where it's putting a healthy pressure. It's a pressure, but it's a healthy pressure on people to live out what they say they believe and to think about the gospel more than just something that happened in 2,000 years ago and we just have to say we believe it and we're good, but has to actually be lived out in our lives. And this is a massive conversation, and I think it's affecting the church at large, which is then eventually affect student ministries, and it is affecting student ministries. And you can see this in some camps and conferences. I speak at a few last year, where they combined the conference with service work, and those conferences, every one I was at this past year, had grown tremendously from the previous year. Why? Well, because youth pastors are talking about it and seeing the importance of helping their kids live it out, and hopefully they're drawing. It's not becoming activism for the kids, but it's um, the youth pastors are hopefully being able to connect the dots. But this is just another huge conversation happening and going on. This is also the catalyst for a conversation regarding missional living. We hear that term missional. Being missional is just thrown out everywhere, and there's connotations attached to it depending on the context you're in. But this is also a way in which we're playing it, seeing it played out. And since I can say this to you too, um, I've sensed that there has been less and less people desiring to go into full-time, lifelong student ministries. Um, a long time ago, student ministry is kind of stepping stone for being a pastor. Now, in a lot of ways, it's becoming a stepping stone for church planting. Um, and the church planter mindset is this missional living, social justice work, all that. And I think we're going to see that playing out in student ministries even more so than we do now. And right now, it's playing out in massive ways. And so, anyways, I just wanted to clarify that end. I probably maybe even more than you wanted, but hopefully it's helpful.